We are live now.
Yeah. So, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Just a minute. So, good afternoon, everybody. We bring you the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita with our brilliant speaker, Archana Kumar, Dr. Archana Kumar, a homeopath, a meta health practitioner, and a color therapist. She will be taking us through the journey which will connect yesterday what we did to today what we did, and today what we are going to be doing. So, she's going to be talking about various topics in Bhagavad Gita on the chapter connected with chapter 5. So over to Archana.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Now, just brushing you all up with what we did yesterday. We ended with the 5 welcome friends that a person had. Just to revise that through your mind. The main 5 vices that we talked about yesterday, that was Kam, Krodh, Moh, Lobh, and Ahankar. All of them, they combined together with the guest in particular friend's house, and they refused to go. Now let me introduce them to you. They are: Kam is lust, Krodh is anger, Moh is attachment, Lobh is greed, and Ahankar, who's the boss of all of them, is Mr. Ego. Mr. Ego, after all of the guests, when they were not made welcome in the particular house, left by and by. But Mr. Ego very politely told the host that, see, I am leaving your house definitely, but I am right outside your door. The minute you call me, I will just come in. And that's what Ego told the host, that I never come uninvited. Your ego, your thought process, your ahem calls that particular ego outside. It comes and sits here, and you do not let anything touch you. The way Anu mentioned yesterday, that 3 set of different people, one of your past loved one, your daughter, your husband, your family members, and your friend, they all say, I love you. But it is entirely upon your whims and fancies, or let's say ahankar or ego, to whom you commit to.
So beautiful people over here, you will say, then why has God gifted us with these 5 vices? If it was so unnecessary, why has God given us these 5 vices? So let's begin with asking Archana this. Why God has given us, the universe has given us these 5, and are they really vices, or is it that this is also part of life and that is also part of life, and we just need to know how to balance everything?
Anu, they are vices, yes, but they are all our learning lessons. Each one of them coming at different stages of life, different states of life, are giving us lessons which, once we master, we will never falter in our life. And the way Gita is teaching us all to learn to live a disciplined life. The, mostly when I'm using the word, where I'm saying that we need to control the senses, please understand, we are trying to tell you that if there is no discipline of the 5 senses, because today I'm going to talk in detail about that, citing a story also, that if we are not controlling the 5 senses, if we let our eyes take, like I've mentioned this more than once before, that if our tongue likes a particular dish and we eat it without controlling the sense of taste, see, I'm using the word control, it will lead to a specific kind of probably stomach problem or nausea, acidity, diarrhea, constipation, will make us land up in the hospital.
So
Similarly,
actually saying is you need to have a balance.
absolutely.
You need to know when is it enough, And Archana, I'm just going to give you a small example here, which was really tilting in my head because I
Hmm?
often say in the classes, anger is not bad.
No.
I'm often also say, lust is not bad, greed is not bad. These things are not bad. They become, and if you look in the human body, our brain is either multiplying things or is minusing things. Now,
Hmm.
if the abnormal multiplication happens, that means beyond a normal ratio,
Hmm.
the problem happens. So all these things are present, but when it goes beyond a certain level, I mean, an abnormal level, like poverty going to an abnormal level. Let's say you are hoarding wealth to an abnormal level. You are wanting to be pretty, 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 like that, the Snow White. She goes and stands, the queen stands in the mirror and says, "Who is the fairest of all?"
Yes.
Not really giving anybody else a chance. That, in Marathi, they say havrat,
Yeah.
basically, very
Ati.
angry.
Ati basically. Excess of anything.
That's the excess we are talking
Yes.
about, because anger is part of your programming. Agar, if you're not angry, if you don't have that fire, then you'll be depressed.
You'll be depressed. Not only that, it's a very small thing. There's a toddler in your house, and there are times when you need to probably project, show, or be angry with that child. It is required to make him into a banda or a right disciplined character, right?
Absolutely.
According to wherever you're staying, whichever society, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter you are in India, US, Europe, Italy, France, Spain, anywhere.
Beneath the skin, all our organs inside the body, despite our nationalities.
Everything is the same. That's why that day when we were talking, I said that whatever we eat, whatever nationality we belong to, we eat our, let's say, like probably meats, or we eat veggies, or we eat grains, or we eat dairy, or we eat anything. Or there are few people who are vegan these days, but they all make blood. The blood is red. The blood groups are standard all over the world. So basically, we are all one. That's exactly what is Christian consciousness. The day we understand this, that is Christian consciousness. This is just another example of explaining that to you, that the blood is red. We are humans. We are the same. We all, even an animal or any person, any human being, anywhere in the world who has a baby. Anu, the first message, I wish my child becomes an ideal human being. Nobody says, I want my son to become Ravan or my daughter to become Shupnaka or my daughter to become Mantra. They're all characters in different mythological stories that I'm naming. All right. You do not want your children to go the wrong way. Nowhere in the world, I don't remember or imagine. I'm sure even you meet so many people. Nowhere in the world, in any religion, community, caste, whatever you pick up, nationality, nobody says, I want my child to go the wrong way. What is your way? The way you have been living, that is your path. And you choose and you try and give the best to your child, and you expect your child to become the best of whatever you are giving
We
under the situation.
also see this in the nature, guys.
Yeah.
See this in nature, like the floods. That's excess of water going up, excess of anything, and that's what destroys. Excess of your anger destroys. Anger once in a while is fine. That's you're showing and you're expressing yourself. Lust once in a while is fine. So
If
these
you wouldn't have lust, you would never have progenition. You'll
exactly.
never procreate. You'll never have that beautiful feeling of probably orgasm or anything. I mean, there's such beautiful feelings that you go through.
And ego is required for you to recognize who really loves you and who doesn't love you. That's your story. 50 people will tell you, I will take you to the bazaar, I will give you everything, but you know exactly in your inner being who is authentic and who is not. And your inner being will tell you that. You may question it and say, am I right, am I wrong, am I thinking correct, am I thinking wrong? But the fact is, your inner being knows. Even a small baby, when the mother picks him up, she knows the touch of the mom and she knows that the mom loves her. The words also do not matter. It's about your feeling, which is your personality, your connection with that person, which decides how you're going to deal with people and how you're not going to deal with people. I just wanted to bring this up because, I thought over it and I said, brilliant. But why did God give us this? He
Because they serve a very good purpose in our human life.
They are like the Shiva of our life, which are like completely, if it goes overboard, it has to be destroyed then. But till it's right there, till it's right connecting, everything is fine. Thank you, Archana.
Now, once we know about these five guests, there's another extension of Diwali talk that I wanted to share with every one of us. Remember, we were talking about the diya and the flame of the diya extending towards the sun, because we all have a tendency to extend ourselves to the origin. The way I shared the story of the salmon fishes, right? Similarly, we all remember that water has a tendency to flow towards the ground. Water originates from the sea, has a tendency, all of the rivers, they have a tendency, they start from the mountain or this place, wherever their origin is, and they come and meet the final place of their origin, that is the sea. Like we talk about Ganga traveling all the way, Ganga, which is one of the most holy rivers in India, starting from Gangotri and ending itself in the Samundar, the sea. All right. Now, please understand that is exactly what Christian consciousness is teaching us, that we are formed by the Panch Mahabhut. I will come back to that. The earth, the sky, the ether, the air, the water, and the fire. These Panch Mahabhuts are the basic elements of nature which form our body. When we are discussing this and we originate from the Panch Mahabhut, we have to understand that in the end, whether when our last rites are done, whether we are put on in the ground or we are just burned to ashes, we are ultimately joining back our origin. We go back, and in Hindi it is a very beautiful sentence, हम उसी में समा जाते हैं जिससे हमारी उत्पत्ति होती है. We go and finally succumb ourselves to the five elements from which we originate.
I really experienced this. I really experienced this. To lose a parent is not easy. 2.5 years back, when I lost my father and I was supposed to be cremating his body, and it really wasn't easy. And then the Pandit puts him in a small matka. Matka is a small earthen pot, and he was nothing but ashes. And that gave me such a huge insight that we are sitting here hoarding things, thinking of whether we are fat, we are thin, we are that, we are this,
We are so judgmental.
so judgmental of ourselves. Ultimately, what really is important are your deeds, because at the end of it, you will be put and packed back into a small earthen pot or whatever your culture says. Yeah. And I remember my grandfather before his death sitting down and saying, Anu, Parsis put it for the fire god, for all the birds to eat
Birds to
dead
eat.
away.
Yeah.
Muslims and Catholics put the body
In the coffins.
underground,
In
and
the coffins, yeah.
our heaven is in the earth, goes back to the earth, where we then go back into our, and we Hindus burn the body. So and what is left behind is the ashes. Believe me, that experience changed me forever, because after 15 days, you need to go to a holy place and actually do the last bit, even after the cremation has been done. And I and my younger sister were getting this organized. And I mean, he says, turn the pot around. And I'm sure a lot of people who have gone through this will understand what I'm talking about. turn the pot around. And I turn the pot around, and dad's one bone is still stuck there. And he says, Nikalo, remove it,
You have to take it out with your hand.
take it out. That was one of the biggest understandings for me, that no one comes on this earth without someone's assistance, and no one goes from this earth without someone's assistance. You are never independent. You're constantly dependent on someone or the other. When I put my hand in that pot, and I actually touched his ashes, because that's probably what universe wanted me to do, and touched the bone that came in my hand. That bone in my hand didn't feel like my dad from any corner, but that bone in my hand changed in from inside, where I understood this is who I will become, the dust back again. And then a little boy came by and said, "We have to go and wash this." And we went to the holy waters, put that in a big sieve, and everything went back where people were actually standing there and taking bath and enjoying and thinking it's the best, holiest water. A dead man's remains, the bones which became the minerals, and tomorrow they may be becoming a crystal which may be sitting in your living room.
And that water would go through our agricultural land,
Yes,
and the plants that we see there,
yes.
seed there, they become the plants, they grow, and it comes back into circulation.
My father would often say this, that he's become useless because he sat down 12 years on the couch not doing anything. And for him, work was everything, like for me is.
Hmm.
I understood on that day he was never useless, even on the last day when he was ashes.
No,
Back,
nothing is useless in the universe.
he went back to the agriculture. He
Yes,
went
he
to,
went back there.
he
He
became
went,
to going to the mountains, and he became a part of the bigger universe. He was truly infinite, and he was truly free. And I just brought this up because we give so much importance to so many things in life. This COVID again has done that for us, where we have been not put in the small pots, but we've been put in small cages of our house. And I hope a lot of internal speculation has happened. Over to Archana.
Anu, now that you've brought this, there's a very small thing that I like to share because it goes with what we're talking right now.
Oh, please.
Basically, it is something, there are three words that we use here, which Sri Krishna also mentions. There is one word called Ghat Akash, there is one which is Mat Akash, and there is one Maha Akash. I'll translate it for everybody. Ghat Akash is basically, Ghat is this body, the body, the piece that is made of the Panch Mahabhut. That is the Ghat. Akash is the ether or the sky. All right. We divide the life, the living, the everything into these three basic fragments also. Ghat Akash is the element that the body that is made of the five elements, and then the Mat Akash, the Ghat Akash, the body makes its own sky. This is one sky, and the Ghat Akash makes its own sky. Now, what is that sky? That is the house that you live in. That is the Mat Akash, the concrete, the stone, the wood, the house, the plank, the door, windows. That is your another Akash, the sky. And then the Maha Akash. Maha Akash is the universal ether or sky. Now, when you were talking about all these last rites and everything, this is exactly what Sri Krishna is telling us, that once the Ghat Akash breaks, once the Atma, the source, like for everyone, we all have dreams, right? We are sleeping. That means the Panch Mahabhut, the body, is sleeping. But who? What is the source? What is the energy? What is the power that gets up in the morning and tells you, I saw this beautiful dream. I was in this fairyland. I was there. I was flying. I was swimming. I was snorkeling. What is that? That is telling you that you saw a dream, because you are saying that you were sleeping. If you were sleeping, who or what was awake to observe all that. That is the Atma, the energy, the source that Sri Krishna has been talking all through about. The one inside the Panch Mahabhut, which is witnessing everything. Okay? So once the Panch Mahabhut leans or culminates into itself, then the Atma gets freed from that cage and it goes into the Mathakash. You know, that time, I don't know, that's what we in our society we say, that if when somebody dies, the soul still is around in the house of the person, or the place of dwelling, or the place of living, or the place around wherever he's existed. So it breaks from the Ghat Akash, but it is still existing in the Mat Akash. Mat is the place where a person stays. All right. Now, what is happening? That the soul wanders there for a while till the time it gets its way to get back to where it came from. That is the Mahaakash, the eternal, the other levels where the Atma goes, the energy goes and gets back. Our human life, if we talk about it, it is just a matter of few seconds when we compare it to other levels and other, births and rebirths and generations or akashas. All right, there are particular people who do akashic readings also. When you talk to them, they will tell you about it. You know, we live here a life of 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 100, 5, 10, 20, whatever. But when we are comparing it to the other lives, other realms that we say, it is a matter of fraction of seconds. Here it is a matter of, time lapse, that a person has lived so many years, but when it comes to the other realms, this is just another realm that the Atma goes through, and it's a matter of seconds. So once the Mat Akash and the Ghat Akash are broken, we land up getting back to the Parampita Parmeshwar, or the supreme energy, or the Krishna consciousness, or the Maha Akash, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that is the other realms where we go back and we get back into the circle of birth or rebirth.
It's worth mentioning, and I this is what I like about the way we are going. We're going in a casual talking manner so that you understand it. Now, I remember going to Rishikesh with Suma Vargas, the ex-editor of Life Positive.
Life
She was
positive.
doing
Okay.
her workshop there, and I was one of the participants.
Okay.
And she is gifted to have, during her work time, she met a lot of people who were not just the seekers but also achieved and masters and real masters, not just masters the kind that we talk about at times, like
Okay.
not just a master in a topic, but they are in mastery over certain thing.
Hmm.
And there I met a very beautiful soul.
Hmm.
He used to work as a scientist,
Hmm.
and he had taken yoga. Basically, he had a sanyas where he's left and everything, but he
Hmm.
was sitting down and chatting with us. An extremely intelligent man who did his research on the dead and the dying.
Okay.
And it was so beautiful, so amazing to hear him, as how they would put a person in a glass box to
Yeah.
see what will happen. This was like, obviously, all the research work is research work. It is with the go ahead of the families
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So there's no controversy there. And he was
Hmm.
working with the Prime Minister or the President of India at that time. And they were checking what comes out of the body
Yeah.
the minute the person dies.
Yes.
And he said, you know what? I spent 10 years doing this, and I still don't have an answer exactly what goes away. But we saw something leaving.
Yes.
We have the photographs saying something left. And
Not only the photograph, Anu, now that the science has advanced, they have those scanners, which scan the heat and the cold and the temperature difference and everything. They have all those records.
yeah,
That what is that energy जो निकल रही है जो आपकी body को, the thing that is leaving the body, what is making me speak with you, that source is still untappable. The beauty is that
yeah. So we think we know it all.
we do not.
Beautiful people. That's the whole thing. What heals you, what takes you to a disease? Like I heard someone saying yesterday, a client of mine called up. He's been unwell for a very long time. And all he kept saying is, somebody's told me that maybe there is black magic on me. Now, the point is, we go into this realm of black magic and someone has done something on us. When we reach a place where we have no answers,
Yeah,
where everything seems unusual, everything was fine, and suddenly then things are not okay. And we don't like to take somewhere the self responsibility of checking out what's not okay. It's so much easier to blame someone else or something else.
yeah, because
Those five
uh,
elements come in along with,
yeah,
and the anger, because you anger is great, but don't direct it to people who haven't done it anything to you.
there's such amazing things. You're talking about black magic, and I'm just learning entity reading and talking to entities in access.
Yeah.
you know Anu, there is so much of possibility for us to learn. It is not even funny. We're not even a drop in the ocean.
Whether you saw it when we were doing sound healing in the class,
Yeah, yeah.
people, we were doing sound healing, and we would have people screaming, doing funny things, and I thought, what was happening?
I remember that particular case where a person was levitated.
Yes,
And I mean, people, we are not joking. It is not funny.
no,
It is scary to such an extent that suddenly a person is lying down and he is levitated from his level 3 4 inches, and we are putting our hand under him like this, like this.
yes,
They're like, what is this?
and he's speaking in a foreign language.
We didn't understand a word of what he uttered. And he went on blabbering.
Yes. Now, do we really understand? Can't we just sit down and say these are miracles of our life?
They're all miracles.
And I am in deep gratitude that there was work getting done. I stopped playing it like that because there were so many questions being raised in my head. Can I say something today after going through many sound masters?
Yeah.
Have, you have. What Archana has, she has. What I have is very unique to me. And you cannot mimic that, because my is from its own experiences and will create different things. Like all people bring the same vegetable and they will cook the same vegetable with the same direction,
Oh, yes.
same masalas being put, but it tastes different.
And
Just
the same potato cooked in so many ways. Potatoes.
yes,
Umpteen numbers. I was shocked to know that one potato can be made in so many ways.
exactly. So once
Crazy.
or one color healing or something or any modality can be practiced in so many
So
ways.
many ways. And they are all right in their stand. They are all true. The way we are discussing this today, this chapter of Ghatakash just came up because Anu mentioned that. And that's the beauty of, uh, the connections can be made from anywhere. And similarly, coming back to our Panchbhut, we are not realizing that those 5 elements are teaching us to give so much when we get up in the morning. Like in India, not many people do it, but a lot of them follow it till date. When they get up in the morning, first thing, even before they put their feet to touch to the ground, whether they are on the 12th floor, or they are on the street, or they are on the ground floor, there is a tendency to touch the floor and just do this. You touch the floor and put it on your head, the dust or whatever you want to call it. That is just a way to show respect to the energy, to the element of earth. Because remember that whatever we are doing today, our existence shall be zero without earth. Everything, from the plants growing on the earth, from the water we drink, from the clothes that we are wearing, from the technology we are using, all the minerals, everything, the diamond ring you're wearing, the gold that gets out, the silver that you wear, all minerals and everything comes from Mother Earth. That's why in India we address her as Ma or Mother, because she is the giver. And what we give it, we start excreting first thing in the morning. What are we dumping into it? We are just creating muck and dirt and giving, and still, after all that, despite everything, look at the large heart of the mother. She hasn't stopped giving it to us. Our food, our water, our air, even our basic necessities will not exist if the earth is not there. So that is a very small gesture to just make mother feel that we are in full gratitude. But the minute that element of earth we accept and we come into gratitude that that element of earth is there in this Panch Mahabhut, in our body, in the Mathakash, in the Ghatakash, don't you think we will be full of gratitude to everything, coming back to same Krishna consciousness? Everything deserves to have complete gratitude from us, from material or being immaterial. It does not matter.
So, what Archana is saying, you always existed, whether you were in your body, and when your Atma, that's your soul, gets released from the body, you were there.
Yes.
You just walked into a bigger space like my dad did. And then you walk into the universe. And from there, you walk into the Akashic records or the Akasha. So, you have always existed. You will always exist.
Even when the body didn't exist, we existed in the earth. We were there as the ashes. We were there as that element. We were always there. And that's exactly what Sri Krishna said in the first chapter, that, oh Arjun, you and I have had many lives before, and we are standing here in Kurukshetra, and we shall have many more and many, many more lives to come. And because Krishna, being the all knowledgeable one, he said, I am the one who remembers all of them and knows the future. And you, being the small I, you are just in the present. The way that Atma that I'm talking about, that this particular realm, we are aware of just this realm, whereas we have lived so many of them before, and we shall be living so many after. That
Just,
is the beauty of it.
just like today, Archana is being the Krishna, and we are all being the Arjunas. Okay, the small I getting from the big I really need to mention this. In Czech Republic, was weird. There wasn't enough space at the time in Czech Republic because of the kind of wars that were happening, or because of the World War II that happened, and the number of people that killed
Hmm.
there.
Okay. Now I'll ask you something.
One body over the other, one body over the other, like how do you have the buildings literally inside
Yes.
with. And if you go to the Egypt and you look, they carry the whole house for the dead,
The dead.
have the tomb created for the wife, for the servants, for everyone there. Then you have the catacombs, which
Hmm.
you go and have a look, and it's so beautiful.
Yes.
We have always been intrigued by the dead and what happens to them and what will happen to them. And we've been fighting more to preserve the deaths or to preserve the dead. Can we preserve life?
Anu, that is the beauty. I happened to meet a friend of mine who happens to be from Jainism. I was talking to her, like this was a few years ago. She lost her son, who was around, I think, 39. And I went to her house after the second day, like the day they did the rites, and I went the second day. And I just asked her, uh, I don't see a photo of your son. You know, I mean, I'm just sharing this because we all deal with them in very different ways. And she said a very beautiful thing related to something what you just mentioned. She said, we believe that that particular Atma has done what it was supposed to do in this body. That is the only reason that God made sure that he left this body. So in our religion, we do not talk about that person, and we do not have anything related to that person in our house. We remove everything when we do the last rite, so that when the Atma is going to the other realm, it is not feeling the bondage, the emotions, and the ties. Not that the mother will not feel that she's lost the son. That's not going to happen. I'm not saying you become a stone and you do not feel anything. I am talking about the physical things, the material things. When you are leaving the material body, that is what again Sri Krishna is saying so beautifully, that when you leave the material body, those attachments to those material objects will make sure that you come back to the realm and the circle of birth and rebirth. And that lady saying that so beautifully really give me an insight that that's exactly what we are saying, that we hoard materialism. We hoard material, emotion, things, objects, clothes, and everything. And that is what gets us back into this realm. It gets us back here to take a birth or rebirth. And again, the same thing to do with our karma. Whatever karma, it is a very beautiful sentence that says, आप जो करोगे सो आप भरोगे. Whatever कर्म or actions you are doing, your result, action has an equal and opposite reaction. So that is what you are going to reap. What you sow, you're going to reap. All right. So it is so beautifully said that in this Panch Mahabhut, we have to be very clear and cautious of our lust, anger, attachment, greed, and ego, so that our actions, our karma, are balanced and sorted out. So I really like that part of it. And the fact that you do not have any material things regarding the person to remind you to pull that soul back into this material world. That was a very beautiful insight when I met that lady. Anu, you're frozen, I think. I can't see you. I'm still live on the Facebook, but I think I have lost Anu there. Okay. We talked about the earth, the giving of earth. I'm waiting for Anu to come back. And the similar way we talked about the sky, the ether. Now, ether is same, the sky, sitting in India, sitting in US, Europe, or Australia, New Zealand, or wherever. We see the same sky. I will just try and see if Anu comes by. I don't know why we've lost her. There might be some connectivity issue, probably. So the sky is same everywhere. We don't see a different sky. It is endless. It gives us the teaching and the learning to be expansive and large hearted and be big, not be small in our thought process, in our thinking. It teaches us the fact that we have to be large, big, and giving. You throw anything towards the sky, it doesn't keep anything, it just falls back, right? So that's what the sky tells us, one of the other Panch Mahabhuts. Just a minute. I'll see if why Anu is not able to join. Some issue with the net, probably. The other elements that are there is Vayu, that's air. I'll just carry you through all of them and then we'll continue on this. Air teaches us movement. It is never static, it's moving. And it doesn't, keep anything with itself. If it passes through a dustbin, it carries that fragrance, leaves it, and then it carries the fragrance of the beautiful flowers that it passes through the garden. So we have to learn to become like that, to leave and to carry according to the situation that we are in. The next is water. Water teaches us to flow. The minute the water becomes stagnant, it becomes dirty and it's not usable. So, the minute we become stagnant in our thought process and our life, we become stuck in the situations. We need to learn to flow. And the next is fire. Anything and everything that comes in contact with fire burns down to ashes. Fire does not see it's a house of a poor person or a rich person, whether it's a palace or it's a pauper's house. It burns everything equally. Similarly, we need to learn from the Panch Mahabhut and learn to give and do what is right. I will end this here. Have a great day. Learning from the Panch Mahabhut is one of the most important lessons that we have, to learn and to give and be honest with ourselves, living with the Krishna consciousness. Dealing with this, the Panch Mahabhut is also teaching us the qualities of acceptance, giving, learning, and everything. Managing that, we have to learn and know the fact when to stop and when to start the life in the right direction, the correct balance, the control, managing all of them. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Anu, are you back?
Yeah.
Sorry, there was some net connection. I just didn't stop. I kept on continuing with it.
Which is perfect, which is what is required. We're talking about dead, and God said, Chalo, let's go back. I'm having a little trouble with my hand today. Okay, so hopefully this will work. I put it on the Bluetooth. Technology, bless it. We have to really, really learn how to be savvy with it. It's
Yes.
that, this is like a different kind of life that we are leading right now, which is so dependent on the internet, not on the oxygen. Really. Okay, so if you can brief what you really.
I just talked about the sky, which is endless, and it is same here in India, Spain, Australia, New Zealand, US, Europe, everywhere.
Yeah,
And it teaches us to be expansive and vast. And another beauty of ether or sky is that you throw anything, it does not hoard or keep anything with itself.
right. And it's
Anything thrown, even if you spit, comes back on you.
yes, and that's what takes me back to our human body. Everything works with gravity, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah,
You drop anything up, it comes down.
it does.
Our human body defies gravity. Do you know that?
That's how we stand on our 2 feet.
It's not just our 2 feet, our circulatory system, the blood.
Yes, everything. Yeah.
What makes that blood go and defy?
That energy, that Atma, that power, that strength, that is the only one which is capable of taking it against the gravity.
So, this energy that you have inside your body is so amazing. And after you're dead, the blood stops flowing up and then going down. It just doesn't. But before that, every time your heart is pumping, you should have only had blood going down, but that's not how it is. The
Your brain gets a lot of it.
every second, and then it comes down, and so you are defying gravity every second.
Not only that, Anu, I remember the beauty of our veins, which are created in such a way that the blood is flowing against the gravity, and it has these beautiful organs called valves in it, where the tendency, because the tendency of fluid or water or everything has to go towards the ground. The walls are made by the nature, the prakriti, the science, the body, the god, whatever you want to call it, to create those walls so that it does not flow back. It goes in the direction only towards the heart.
Exactly.
And mind you, that when a body, the soul, the energy, the atma, when it leaves the body, the tendency of blood to flow becomes static wherever it is, and every discharge that's in the bladder or wherever it is, when the atma leaves, we know that all the discharges just come out.
Yeah,
They flow. There is no control. They just evacuate. Why? Again, the same thing, that the Panch Mahabhut have a tendency to lean back into the Panch Mahabhut. They are going and just getting back to them.
absolutely. And this goes back again to the family constellation where they say go back to the source.
Yes,
Go,
going back to the source.
which is your parents, your grandparents, your generations, your diseases are got from generations. What they have got skills, they are already present in you. So we're not just carrying our skills from our past lives, from this life, but we're
Yeah,
also carrying it from our ancestors. And I am fascinated every day. Our backbone has 33 vertebrae.
vertebrae.
And do you know 33 is the number of Mahalakshmi?
Yeah, I know.
Now, it's in the angel numbers, 3 and 3 is the number of the masters.
Masters.
What is it about the number 3? What is it about the number 2? What is it about number 1? That's fascinating my brain, and it's going beyond. And 3 number by itself actually
Anu,
is,
3 is such a beautiful number.
yes, it's the creative
Because,
and
yeah,
together.
exactly. When we talk about God, it is the creator, generator, it is the runner and the destroyer.
Exactly.
And then again, coming back to when we talk about our mythology, three again comes to the Satogun, Rajogun, and the Tamogun. We'll be talking about them later because it's a very vast topic. But again, the Trinity has always been the beauty of, understanding the mind, the body, and the soul.
Exactly. These are 3 divisions.
Yes.
Why is it that most of our vital organs, like the eyes, like your uterus, this is not, uterus is not a vital organ, but it's a vital organ to your body. Why is it that most of our vital organs are located inside your stomach?
I think we lost Anu again. And it's time, I think, even I need to leave. Just to end today's session, uh, I will give a very small understanding. We all wear a watch, right? Now, wearing a watch, only a person who has the ability to watch his words, to check his words, has the right to wear a watch. We have talked about using the sense of tongue, the sense of speaking. A person who has the ability to correct his words has the right to wear a watch. The next alphabet A. A person who has the rightful correction of his actions, who has the tendency of pertaining all his deeds and action and karmas to the Atma, who has the correct attitude in life, has a right to wear a watch. A person who has the right thought process, who does not live with the negativity, who has a tendency to be positive in any circumstances whatsoever, has a right to wear a watch. A person whose character, whose charisma, who's capable of managing lust, anger, attachment, greed, and ego equally, who is capable of taking care, the right decision, or in any situation, has the character to wear the watch. And last but not the least, a person who, after learning, gaining knowledge of all and each and every event of life, the way we are discussing through Christian consciousness, is capable of changing his habits, is capable of removing the habit of negativity, negative thought process, and making himself positive and lives with the positivity and gratitude in him, has the right to wear a watch. Last but not the least, I would ask all of you to go with the thoughts in mind of having the tendency to pray. Do not praise, but pray. Pray with gratitude, with thankfulness for every day that we are blessed, every day that we get the connection, every day that I am able to share something with you, and even if I make a difference in life of one person in the whole universe, I have done my job. And thank you everyone for listening to us. And probably there's some connectivity issue with Anu. We shall come back to you tomorrow as and when possible, probably around the same time. Have a great day. So please pray. Do not praise, because praise can become artificial at times and mean every word that you say from the corner of your heart. God bless you all and have a great day.